How's it going, Houdat Nation? What an end to the first half for the New Orleans Saints in their Week 5 matchup against the Washington football team. Bob Rose with me, Brendan Boylan. And Bob, it's been the deep ball, the one that so many Saints fans have been begging for, that has the Saints in the lead, obviously, the Hail Mary is not something you really draw up and say, hey, this is going to work. Jameis was able to escape the pocket to his right, deliver one deep downfield. The first one was something that I know a lot of Saints fans wanted to see, the 72-yard touchdown to Deontay Harris. He's questionable. What have you seen offensively from the New Orleans Saints thus far? It's been a little bit finicky, but 20 points up on the board.
Brendan, Houdat Nation, thank you for joining us at halftime. What I've seen out of the Saints offense, I really love what I see out of the passing attack. Even backed up to their own goal line, Sean Payton showed zero hesitation in letting Jameis throw a couple passes from his own end zone. Almost ended up in disaster. The pass blocking has got to do a better job in the second half. But Jameis has shown some pretty good pocket awareness. He's been aggressive downfield. And I love the way Callaway and Stills are both playing. Love to see Alvin Kamara getting more involved in the passing game as well. And they got that involved very, very early. You need the Saints to run the ball better in the second half. I think they're going to make an attempt at that. I've seen Hurst and Pete blocking down. And if that continues to happen, that's going to give Kamara some cutback lanes. But they have to protect Jameis Winston a little bit better, especially with Deontay Harris unlikely to play in the second half with that hamstring injury. But I love the aggressiveness that Sean Payton and Jameis Winston have both shown offensively. I think this passing game is really on track.
Oh, and you see Jameis Winston's numbers so far in the first half. There was a lot of Saints Twitter that said, oh, maybe Sean doesn't trust Jameis Winston, especially after that loss to the Giants. Do you see a little bit more trust here in Week 5?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And I saw some trust coming out from Peyton over Winston in Week 4. Sean got a little bit cute with that Taysom Hill bomb against the Giants. After the Kenny Stills touchdown was called back. But up until that Giants game, that's where I have been talking about that I didn't see any confidence in Sean Payton towards Jameis Winston. Saw a lot of indecision from Jameis Winston trying not to make a mistake. These reins are starting to come off of the Saints passing game. That is a great sign. You hope Deontay Harris comes back healthy. But we're starting to see a little bit of that preseason and training camp chemistry between Winston and Callaway. And Stills is still a playmaker for this New Orleans offense.
When you mentioned running the football, Alvin Kamara, 9 touches in the first half. That's a number that's a little low from what we've seen in the past, considering he's only got 6 carries thus far. He finds a way to get in the end zone, but you said you still need a little bit more out of the Saints rushing attack. How do they digest that and change some things in the second half?
Well, I think they're going to kind of probe Washington's defensive line with Kamara. Probably on their first drive, when Washington gets the ball back out of the locker room, but on their first drive of the second half. I think this is a strategy from Sean Payton and Pete Carmichael to go a little bit pass heavy compared to what we have seen over the first 4 games, to see if they can loosen up that Washington defense, who is like to stack the box. So we're going to see them probe the Washington front 7. With Kamara, probably with the run in the second half, see what that does. If that's successful, then we're going to see a lot of more cute play calls from Peyton and Winston. If it's not, then this game is going to ride or die on the right arm of Jameis Winston and that receiving core.
Well, defensively for the New Orleans Saints, it looked like they did a pretty good job getting up off the field. Then you have the roughing, the punter. Paulson Debo makes a big play by the goal line. You had a call not go your way. There's a couple things going the opposite way of the Saints defense, but much better than what we saw in the second half last week, right? They were able to bounce back here in the first half and get back to that Saints defense that they've been the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, they really have. And all the credit to that entire unit, because their backs were literally against the wall the entire first half. I think all but 1 or 2 of the Washington drives started in Saints territory. And And the defense has come up big on third downs. You'd like to see the run defense win their battles at the line of scrimmage a little bit more. Gibson has had some running room as far as 3 and 4 yards a pop. You'd like that reduced to 1 or 2. And again, Heineke does not hesitate to tuck the ball under and run when he's under a little bit of pressure. So look for Dennis Allen to perhaps use Pete Werner, the linebacker, as a spy on Heineke in the second half. But Cam Jordan and Peyton Turner in particular have got, and Tano Passanio have gotten decent pressure on the edge. You need them to finish the play a little bit better, though.
Have some questions. Any word on Taysom Hill? I would assume that Taysom's going to be out for the rest of the game, especially when you're looking at the concussion protocol. And then, obviously, we mentioned earlier with Deontay Harris, he's questionable to return. Here's one from a friend, Jason Williams, a little off from what we've seen from the game. But we know that's Bob's guy.
Yeah, it most certainly is. A Jim Everett starting lineup action figure from 1995. And Jim is not only one of my favorite Saints of all time. He was one of my favorite, really my second favorite quarterback behind John Elway in that era. And I can personally attest to Jim is a terrific guy, awesome sense of humor. He's an LA Ram at heart, but he has a lot of emotions from his time in New Orleans. Still loves Who Dat Nation. He roots for the Saints every single week unless they're playing the Rams.
Well, Bob, just a little bit more time here in the halftime report. We've talked about a few things that the Saints need to change up in the second half. But if you had to have one knock on the Saints so far in the first half, what is it, and how do you see the second half going?
My knock would be on Ryan Ramczyk very specifically, and the pass protection in general. Again, we knew coming in without Teron Armstead and Eric McCoy that the Saints had a big challenge against the Washington defensive line. But Ramczyk he just doesn't look like Ryan Ramczyk to me. And then on the other side, we've seen James Hurst get bowled over twice, once on that near safety. Other than that, you want to see them loosen up the Washington run defense a little bit. I think they're gonna be able to do that in the second half. Love Winston's ball awareness or pocket awareness, but I'd like to see the receivers get a little bit more separation faster. That would be my secondary knock. Defensively, again, I'd like to see the defensive tackles for New Orleans, Roach, Montavious Adams, and Shai Tuttle get a little bit more penetration into the Washington backfield, both as pass rushers and against the run.
I think the only knock that I have, Bob, is I'd like to see them run the ball a little bit more. Only 8 carries so far in the first half for New Orleans, and one of them being a scramble from Jameis Winston that picked up a first down. So I'd like to see the run a little bit more. But we talked about it in the pregame show, a little difficult when you're down to essentially one back because Dwayne Washington also picked up a knock in the first half, and we're unsure of his status as well. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for the halftime report. I see the Saints being able to finish the job. And Bob, I was right. We did curse little Cody Parkey early there in the pregame show by just even bringing it up. But Bob, thank you so much to you. Always a pleasure doing halftime and pregame with you week in and week out. To all you guys that come back and follow us week in and week out, we appreciate all of your support. Saints up 20-13 over the Washington football team. That'll do it from the Saints News Network crew this week. We'll have something in store for the bye week. We'll see you then.